come to me and ask me to be allowed to carry guns in other states with their permit. But I've never had anybody come to me and say, I've been convicted of a violent misdemeanor and I want to be able to take my gun into another state. And I've never had anybody come to me and say, I want people who have been convicted of violent misdemeanors to be able to carry their guns into other states. And I've never had anybody come to me who was under 21 years of age and say, I want to change the law so I can carry my gun into Tennessee where you can't possess a gun unless you're 21, but I'm just 18 or 19 and I'm from Alabama and Mississippi, and I want to go to Tennessee and carry my gun and show all my friends there that I can carry a gun and they can't. Mr. Chairman, would you yield?
You're the one who has the time.
Well, I'm asking you to yield.
No, you
question.
You can ask me a question and I'll ask you to yield in response.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you had anybody come to you and say, I want the law changed so that people who have violent misdemeanors can travel and use their carry permits in another state?
No, and the answer, the fuller answer to that is that the federal law bars certain types of misdemeanors from possessing firearms. Whether a state interprets the law to include some of the things you're talking about for the issuance of a concealed carry is a separate issue, but you have to have some standard measure, and that's what we do in this bill.
There's no standard measure in this bill. The standard measure is what the least, whatever the state has that issues the permit, and then you can carry it into another jurisdiction. And on the same issue, Mr. Chairman, has anybody come and asked you to allow people that are under 21 to be able to carry guns into states where the law requires you to be 21? For instance, Virginia is 21. Has anybody come to you and said, I'd like the 18 and 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds in Alabama and Mississippi to come to Virginia and carry their guns in your state while your citizens can't?
I don't know if anybody's gotten into the specifics of that, but I have no problem with that as long as it's a lawfully recognized concealed carry permit in their home state.
So you have no problem with somebody who gets a permit in Mississippi who's 18, even though the Virginia State House delegates has said you have to be 21 in Virginia and have an 18-year-old from Mississippi come into Virginia and carry their gun, even though they couldn't carry it in Virginia if they
That's
were
correct.
18. Wow. Let me just say this, thank you. This is crazy. This is back to the fact that the NRA overrides states' rights. States' rights is a mantra until the NRA gets involved, and then it's out the window. Skittles is a Donald Trump mantra for Syrians, but if one person would change their behavior because of a gun law, that one Skittle doesn't make any difference when it's the NRA and guns, because Syrians matter, and guns and innocent Americans and the NRA, that's the difference. This is astonishing, sir, that you would want people to come into your state who are 18 years old and have a permit when people from Virginia can't have it. There should be some bottom line understanding of state laws and state legislatures understanding what is best for their state. And people under 21 are less likely to be mature, to carry a gun. That's why 34 states have those laws that say you have to be 21. Tennessee has that law. I drafted that law. I drafted and passed the right to carry law, but said you had to be 21 unless you were a member of the military. That was the only difference. And now people from Mississippi and Alabama could come up and carry a gun in Tennessee and show their buddies and say, hey, I've got my gun, but you can't carry yours. But the people of Tennessee knew better in what Tennessee wants and what Tennessee needs. And they said, yes, somebody with a concealed carry permit who has passed a test, taken safety courses, gone on the range, doesn't have a criminal record, and is 21 can carry. And I thought that was right, and it passed, and it's the law. But we didn't think people from Mississippi and Alabama should come into our state at 18 or 19 who are young, immature, and at the age where crime is more likely to occur than at an older age when people are more mature. I'm just astonished that the NRA has taken over this legislative proceeding to where we can't have reasonable restrictions. I'm not against people carrying guns if they abide by the laws and restrictions of the other states and they're reasonable and if they're 21 years of age. But if we can't do that, we have just sold out our legislative authority and our appearance of being capable of drawing laws and respecting state laws. I yield back the balance of my time.
Who seeks recognition? The gentleman from California.